Hello, cannedcream here, CC for short. Today I want to talk about a topic that's been floating around the brony community since Season 1. That question being, who deserved the second ticket to the Grand Galloping Gala the most? I know a lot of different fans have already commented about this, and this is probably going to be just another drop in the bucket, but I really do want to throw in my own 2 bits about this subject, if only because it's a debate that I love hearing and I love talking about. To start off this list, with no order whatsoever, I'm going to go with Applejack. I'm going to say something here that you're probably going to hear me repeat a lot this episode, and that is that Applejack had no real interest in the gala whatsoever. What she wanted was the ponies that were there. More specifically, she wanted to set up shop and sell her wares to them. First of all, let's talk about the fact that Applejack tried to open a stall right on the lawn in the middle of the gala. While I won't claim to be an expert on parties by any means, this does strike me as a little uncouth and even a little bit sordid. Kind of like that one guy who always brings his guitar to the party and then plays even though no one ever asked him to. And it also ignores the biggest hole in Applejack's plans. This is a big social event. Everything was catered. The food was provided for free. Of course she's not going to sell anything when it's being given away around her.
Well, no wonder no pony wants my food. They're filling up on all those fancy schmancy beetles.
Unless you're Soren. I do respect a pony who respects his pie. Also, I have to wonder whether or not her desire to make more money for her family was even really necessary. The Apple family owns one of the largest farms in Ponyville. AJ and Big Mac are depicted as easily being able to take care of the fields by themselves, ignoring Applebuck season when AJ had to do the entire thing alone. Also, at no point in the series are the Apples ever depicted as being hard up for money. While certainly not rich, they don't seem any worse off than anyone else in Ponyville. So I have to ask, did AJ really need to make these sales? Personally, I don't think she did. While I certainly don't blame her for wanting to bring more money into her household, I feel like giving her the only other ticket would be a waste. What she wanted was more fitting to a farmer's market, not a formal ball.
No!
Let's move on to Rainbow Dash. Like Applejack, she didn't care about the party. She was there for the Wonderbolts. She wanted to impress them and earn a spot in their ranks. In short, Rainbow wanted to build a network. And I actually do respect this. Making the right friends and connections can take you far in life. As the saying goes, it's not what you know, it's who you know, or what you know about them. Back in Ticketmaster, I would completely understand her reasoning. She is chasing her lifelong dream. She wants to make an impression with the Wonderbolts. But between episode 3 and 26, there was a little episode called Sonic Rainboom, where Dash literally saved their freaking lives. And not only that, she went on to win the Best Flyer competition, as appointed by the princess herself. If that doesn't leave an impression, nothing you do ever will. The only reason she's not a Wonderbolt is likely because they're waiting for her to officially graduate from the academy. And because this is a cartoon, so the writers are going to milk this storyline for all it's worth. While we're on the subject, let me get a little meta here by saying that even if Rainboom hadn't happened, Dash still would have made her impressions on the Wonderbolts later on because of the events in Hurricane Fluttershy in Season 2 and Wonderbolt Academy in Season 3. Okay, while you might call making an argument for something that happened in the first season using evidence for something that wouldn't happen until Season 2 and 3 and that Rainbow Dash would have no way of knowing about as being a little bit unfair, I'm going to do it anyway.
Because shut up.
I think that it's perfectly logical for Dash not to receive the second ticket for these reasons. Okay, since I already said Fluttershy earlier, let's just go ahead and talk about her next. I really made it no secret that Flutters is my favorite out of the main 6. So obviously she would be my pick for the second ticket, right? Well, no. Actually, the exact opposite of that. Out of all the ponies, I think Fluttershy had the worst reason for wanting to go. Whereas at least all the others had something from the gala that they wanted or needed to achieve their dreams, Fluttershy only really desired the garden. She wanted nothing to do with the party in any way, shape, or form, so it seems unlikely that Fluttershy would have joined the party for any sort of reason. I guess, unless she got really hungry, I suppose. But, then again, free food, so sorry Applejack, you don't win there either. Now, I get the castle grounds are most likely private property, and the royal guard would probably not take kindly to any pony just wandering through the yard whenever they pleased. But Fluttershy is Twilight's friend. If she really wanted to see the garden, I think Celestia would just let her if she asked. Seriously, Flutters, I love you, but you can go any time. You don't need this ticket. You don't need it, okay?
You should be ashamed of yourself. I have had the mind to find your mother and tell her what you've been up to, young man.
Changing the subject, let's talk about Rarity. Just like Rainbow Dash and Applejack, Rarity was not there for the party. She was there for the ponies. More specifically, she was there for Prince Blueblood, Celestia's great nephew. Where I think Rarity wins out over the others here, though, is that she had yet to ever meet the prince. And while they're both regal, there is a very gaping status difference between them, so it was unlikely they would ever bump into one another in everyday life. It does make sense for her seeing this as her one and only shot for meeting the cult that she admired. And true love is the greatest thing in this world.
Except for a nice MLT, mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich when the mutton is nice and lean and the tomatoes are ripe. It's so perky. I love that.
However, I feel like I have to go back to the same point I made with Fluttershy. Rarity wasn't going to the gala to find love with a pony. She had a specific one in mind. There is no reason that I can think of that she couldn't just ask Celestia to introduce them herself. Celestia probably would have said yes, or at least warned her that Blueblood was kind of an a-hole. Besides, I find it hard to ignore that Rarity was banking on a lot to happen in just one night. Rarity is an intelligent mare, but her expectations were far too high. It does seem in character for her romantic side to get the better of her common sense, but she was definitely hoping for a fairy tale scenario. It wasn't that surprising when it didn't come true. It's a close call for me, because the hopeless romantic part inside of me really does want to support her in this, but I have to decline giving her the ticket as well.
Of all the worst things that could happen, this is the worst thing!
And the reason pretty much comes down to my real choice for the gala, and the one pony who I think deserved the ticket the most. Pinkie Pie. Unlike every single other pony, including Twilight herself, who gets to go by a default, Pinkie was the sole pony who wanted to go to the gala for the gala. She didn't care about what part of the castle it was in, or where she was, or what she was going to do. She did not have any kind of secret plans or ulterior motives, nor was she looking to make any sort of connections. Pinkie just wanted to do what Pinkie does, which was have fun with as many ponies as possible.
Hip hip hooray! It's the best place for me, for Pinkie!
I do have to concede to the fact that the type of party that she was expecting was not the one she got, but I also can't really fault her for that either. Up till then, her parties were pretty much all hokey pokey and pin the tail. Of course she was expecting more of the same to happen here. And besides, without the others to completely tear down the castle with pie fights and animal stampedes, who knows, Pinkie might have actually livened that place up. Let's not forget, she managed to break her entire family out of their blue funk with just a few balloons and streamers. Oh, streamers. Is there any problem you can't fix?
I put the fires out. You made them worse. Worse? Or better?
Huh. Well, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to see more. Post your own comments below. And as always,
Stay pony, my friends.